What is up, my dudes, and that one girl who just really likes watching these showdowns? This is Bikes, Beards, and Brews. Let's kick that intro. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Before we kick this one off, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification. New videos are coming weekly. You ring that bell, you know when they drop. Let's get the other stuff out of the way. Want to save 10% on a Cardo communicator or save some money on some Beyond Riders gear? Then you should definitely check my referral links down below. Want to support me and all my do-gooderness like these cool guys here? Bam! Then you should become part of the Brew Crew and join the coffee page down below. Want to know why I'm asking you for money? Well, next to those 10,000 Amazon affiliate links that also go to a good cause is a link explaining what I do with your money. Get it, got it, cool, let's move on. Alright guys, so for anyone who's been keeping up with the channel, I've been having a lot of fun over the last few weeks, just kind of like matching up a Harley-Davidson versus an Indian motorcycle, usually something that's in the same class, that's meant to compete with one another, and you know, going through the specs, the prices, and all the other like good stuff, and then trying to decide which one I'd personally go for and seeing which one you guys would go for. Well, we're going to continue that today because I've got another matchup that I feel is pretty interesting. However, this one does not fully line up, so there are a few caveats to this one. So today we are going to be doing the Harley-Davidson Pan America ST, and we are putting that up against the Indian Motorcycles FTR R Carbon. Why are there two R's? Whatever. But yes, so the caveats are this. Indian does not have an ADV bike, which is where the Pan America falls in, like, you know, the whole Harley lineup. And Harley-Davidson does not have any sort of flat track line. For those of you unaware, the FTR stands for Flat Track Racer. Now, obviously, they haven't really been using these for flat track racing, but that was the inspiration behind this line. Now, where these two do cross paths is they both compete in super hooligan racing, and they compete in the same races. So yes, Harley has decided that this is going to be its super hooligan, and Indian has decided that this is going to be its super hooligan. Now, just like any of the other like racing stuff like King of the Baggers, obviously the stuff that's on the track is not the stuff you're getting off the floor, but again, that's one of those little caveats I just want to get into. So yes, we are going to put these two up against each other, but do be aware, these are not meant to 100% compete with each other. So there will be some differences, and I will call those out as we go through this video. Overall though, they have just about the same wheelbase, just about the same seat height, just about the same ground clearance, all that fun stuff. So they are right along the same lines when it comes to size and all those other good things. It's the specs that we're going to get into where you're really going to see one or the other shine depending on the category. And this is not a knockdown drag out. Like, both of these bikes have fantastic attributes and they definitely shine in different categories. So stay tuned. And then at the end, I want to know which one you would pick. Alright, so coming right out of the gate, the Pan America ST comes in at $20,000 MSRP, whereas the Indian FTR Carbon, I'm going to drop that R in the middle, just, it's a tongue twister. The FTR Carbon, it comes in at $17K MSRP, just a hair over, it's like $17,200, so we just round it down. So yes, there's about a $3,000 difference between these two bikes right out of the gate. Now, of course, we're going to start with everyone's favorite, and that is horsepower. The FTR Carbon comes in at 120 horsepower, and it comes in with 87 foot-pound of torque. Now, this is the same across the entire FTR line. This is one of those things that actually kind of annoys me about Indian, because like no matter which like version of the bike you're getting, you get the same engine right across the board. In one way, it's great. If you want to buy a cheaper bike and get the horsepower and the torque and all that fun stuff and build the bike up the way you want it, awesome. And that is a great thing if you're looking to do that, and definitely a check mark in Indian's category. However, if you're spending a few grand more on a bike and then you're finding out you have the same engine, same horsepower, same torque as the guy who just spent 5K less than you, it is a little frustrating, I must say. With that, the Pan America ST comes in at 149 horsepower with 91 foot-pound of torque. So this thing is light years ahead of the FTR Carbon. I mean, we're not even talking just a couple horsepower, a couple foot-pounds of torque. I mean, there is a real gap there. However, the gap does get closed a little bit when we start talking about the weights of these bikes. Now, the Pan America ST comes in at a chunky 542 pounds curb weight, whereas the FTR Carbon comes in at 518 pounds curb weight. And at first I was like, man, that's a real chunky bike over there. What's the problem? And then I kind of tried to look at stuff and tried to figure out what the big difference was. One of the things is the Pan America ST comes in with a 5.6 gallon gas tank, whereas the FTR comes in at a 3.4 gallon gas tank. Now that difference is a little over 2 gallons, which equals about 13 pounds. Now if you adjust for that weight, the Pan America is still heavier by 11 pounds. Real world though, it's heavier by about 20 pounds. So it does have that advantage on the torque and the horsepower, but it is a chunkier bike. However, I feel like it has enough horsepower and enough torque where that's not really going to be a huge game changer if you put these two up against each other going light to light. All right, let's talk lean angle. The Pan America ST has a 37-degree lean angle left or right. So that's pretty solid, and you're really going to carve up those twisties with that. However, the FTR Carbon comes in with a 43-degree lean angle left or right. So you're really going to get into those twisties with the FTR. That is actually a huge difference. I mean, we're talking just under a 10-degree difference there. That's rough. Harley, fix your bike, make it so it can lean more. Come on, let's really get into those curves. Now, there's a lot of stuff that are the same on these bikes. They're both rocking monoshocks in the back. They both have inverted suspension on the front. They're both running dual Brembos on the front and singles on the back. And they both have full LED all the way around. Again, Harley, welcome to the party. Congratulations. I'm so glad you're finally doing this on your newer bikes. When we're getting back into differences though, the Pan America does have that sort of small fairing on the front, for lack of a better term. I mean, it is all encased there, and it has an adjustable windscreen, whereas the FTR Carbon doesn't have either. You can actually get a windscreen for it in its aftermarket or like in its upgrades for like the Indian stuff, but it does not come with the bike. And again, this is one of those things where it's the purpose of these two bikes, what makes them different. So I wouldn't expect a windscreen or any sort of fairing on that FTR. That is just one difference to take into consideration when you're looking at these bikes and possibly deciding which one you may want to purchase. Now, both of these bikes have a TFT screen. All the features are pretty much identical, but the big difference is the FTR Carbon comes with that 4-inch TFT that you're seeing on their other bikes, which is that round gauge. Harley has a similar one on their Sportster and Nightster lineups. However, the Pan America is using a 6.8 TFT screen, and that extra real estate makes a huge difference, especially when you're using it for maps, if you're scrolling through music, basically anything where you don't want to put on your readers to see what's on the screen. We're talking almost double the real estate here, and I know that 6.8 versus 4, like 4 would be 8, but keep in mind those round gauges, Harley included, you're not using that full real estate on that screen. Like, they definitely have the bezels around the top, and the bottom half has a very thick bezel, so like you are losing some real estate there. And again, it's a round screen, so you know you're losing stuff there. However, depending on your view of electronics, you may take or leave this and don't care. We talked about this in the last video where we were taking the Super Sport and we were putting it against the Lowrider S, where some people may not want to deal with any of those electronics whatsoever, and they just want to gauge. So they're going to take that 4-inch TFT and set it to an analog gauge. They're going to take that 6.8, set it to an analog gauge, and forget all about it. But if you're looking for that technology, you definitely have more real estate with the Pan America. When it comes to colors, this variation of the Pan America has 3 different colors. And all three of them pretty solid. I dig them. I like them quite a bit. Now, if you were to expand to the rest of the Pan America line, you're looking at about several different colors and patterns and all that stuff you could pick from. We are staying right here because, again, we are aiming at that ST lineup. So don't come at me in the comments saying, oh, the Pan America has 7 colors. I know. We're doing the ST. Calm down. With that being said, the FTR Carbon only has 1 color palette. Now, in their defense, this is awesome. I love this paint job. I know I've been harping on Indian's paint jobs a lot over the last couple weeks. This style, this design, like that carbon fiber with the red and the black, like this looks good. They nail it here. This is just one of those things where I know that they've been doing this for years as well, but it works and I like it a lot. If you wanted to get any other colors like the Pan America, you got to start going into the rest of the line, which has different trims, different price points, some a little cheaper, some a little more expensive. This particular one, the FTR Carbon, 1 color. So if you don't like this, you're SOL. That's all there is to it. Now for upgrades, the FTR, very limited. Like I said, I looked through it. I looked through the custom builder. There was some stuff in there. You could get like heated grips. You could get that bolt-on windscreen. You could get different like foot pegs. Nothing too crazy. Although Indian loves to do this, and this drives me nuts. I'm going to take a second here and just, Indian, why in the hell, if I went to you to buy an FTR Carbon, would I then want an add-on electric FTR bike? Extra bikes are not add-ons. Extra bikes are not upgrades. This is the dumbest thing on earth. This would be like if I went to Harley, bought a Road Glide, and I was like, oh, you know what? Let's go ahead and upgrade this with a Fat Bob. Go ahead and just put that on there too. That is not upgrading. That's buying a separate bike. Like, what are you guys doing? This is stupid. This is absolutely stupid. Stop doing this. And they do this on all their bikes. Go look at any of their bikes, go into the custom builder. The last option on there every single time is, do you want another bike to go with your bike? Stop it. That is stupid. All right, calm now. Now, of course, the Pan America, it's a Harley, non-stop upgrades for days. One of the cool things about this is it is still in that Pan America family. So if you're looking to do some traveling with this, again, you've got that 5.8 gallon gas tank. You can go on some road trips with this. It's an adventure bike at its core. So you can get 2 different types of bags. You can get the sport touring bags, or you could just get the hard case bags. There's other stuff you can choose from bag-wise. You could put engine guards on this, lights, all kinds of stuff. I mean, you could basically put all the stuff on this that fits on a CVO fully dressed from a Pan America. You can go up to that level if you want. And again, I don't expect this from the FTR Carbon because at the end of the day, these are different bikes when it comes to that, which is also why I'm not harping on the FTR having a smaller gas tank. The FTR is not meant to go for like weekend trips. It's not meant to go cross country. It's meant to be something that you're either being a hooligan in the track, you're doing flat track racing, or you're bombing around town and just being a hooligan. Like, you know, it's not meant to crush serious miles. So that is a big difference between the two, but it is expected, and it's not something I'm going to like just attack Indian for because it's not warranted on this. All right, so those are the big details when it comes to these 2 bikes. So which would I choose? Honestly, it would be a little difficult, and it's because what I've mentioned already. These are 2 different bikes when it comes down to it, down to their heart and soul. They are 2 different. If I was going to take a bike where I'm bombing around town, being a hooligan, the FTR Carbon looks like a really fun bike. However, I've not really seen any of these in the wild. I've been to a ton of motorcycle rallies since these things came out, and I've never seen one. I found one at like a repair shop. Even when I go to like Indian dealerships, I tend not to see these on the sales floor, so I don't know what's going on with these. They're great looking bikes. Overall though, if I was going to pick a bike, that Pan America ST, ever since I saw that, I've been quite excited about it. And I've mentioned it before. Last year, I took a Pan America CVO for a test ride for a night. And Out of all the bikes I test rode with Harley that day, that is the one that stuck with me the most. That is the one I thought about the most and the one that I've wanted the most since test riding those bikes. It really was a fun bike, and I would love to get on a Pan America ST. And the other thing I like about that is if I had that in my garage, I would no doubt have bags that I could slap on that and take off for the weekend or take off for a couple days. So I like that diversity that it has and that ability to just kind of expand. I like bikes that can do more than just one thing, and that's what that would do. So, I mean, if somebody came up to me and said, look, you know, you got to pick one or the other, you're buying it, you're taking it home, I'm paying for it, but you have to decide on one, it would be the Pan America ST. I like the way it looks, especially in that black color. I like the way, like I said, you know, you could slap on bags, you can do other stuff with it, you can change it around a little bit. But I would be remiss to not have that FTR Carbon as well. It's a good looking bike, it really is. Nonetheless, that's what I've got. What do you got? If you had to choose between these two bikes, which one would you pick? What did you find most fascinating about these? Sound off in the comments down below. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification, share this video with friends, share it with family, share it with that one dude you know who's like, wait, they do hooligan racing? I gotta check that out. He loves this stuff, trust me. And I'll see you all on the flip side.